Now, all of you look at the two ants, how they are playing with the crystals, how they are eating crystals until they are full, and now they fell asleep. And what happened when they wake up? When they woke up, what happened? Let's see. The daylight came, the sleeping ants were unaware of changes taking place in their newfound home. A giant silver scoop hovered over above them, then plunged deep into the crystals. It shoveled up both ants and crystals and carried them high into the air. The ants were wide awake. When the scoop turned, dropping them from a frightening height, they tumbled through space in a shower of crystals and fell into a boiling brown lake. Now, what happened here? While they were sleeping, they were unaware of something. They didn't know something was happening to them. What happened? A giant silver scoop. We said that the scoop is like the spoon, but it used to pick up things. So they found a huge silver scoop hovered above them. It was floating above them, like it was above them, flying above them. And then it plunged deeply into the crystals where they are. They are found inside the clusters. So it plunged deeply inside the crystal. It shoveled up both ants and crystals. So it took both the ants and the crystals and carried them into the air. Oh my god, this giant scoop. It took the ants with the sugar and now they are in the air. What happened? Now the ants are wide awake. They are very awake when the scoop turned. Dropping them from a frightening height, it dropped them from this frightening height, scary height. It was very high to where they are now, the ants. They tumbled through a space of a shower of crystals. Now they went inside in a shower of crystals and they fell into a boiling brown lake. Now the scoop took them in a boiling brown lake, meaning a very hot brown lake. This lake now its color is brown, so the crystals and the ants it's found now in a very hot place, hot lake meaning hot brown boiling brown lake meaning a very hot brown lake, which is scary and it's very hot and it's dangerous. You think the ants are going to die? Look at this brown lake. This is a boiling brown lake and this is the scoop. See how the ants are now? They are barely surviving. They're trying to survive. Look at the ants. Then the giant scoop stirred. You know what stirred? We said stirred before, to mix. Stirred violently hard, back and forth, like this, to stir like this. Crushing waves fell over the ants. The huge waves of this brown lake, the lake, fell above the ants. It was dangerous, as the scoop was stirring up the brown lake. They kept on paddling. When you're going to swim and you paddle with your feet, so the ants, they paddled hard to keep their tiny heads above the water. They were trying to paddle to not get drowned inside the water. But the scoop kept spinning the hot brown liquid. The scoop, what happened? It keeps on spinning like this, spinning on circles as they try to float above the water. The scoop kept on spinning around and around it went, creating a whirlpool that sucked the ants deeper and deeper. So what happened? When we stir with our spoon or with uh, the scoop, they will make a whirlpool, like the water started to go down little by little to make this whirlpool. Okay, so the ants started to go down and down, deep and deep. They both held their breath. When you hold your breath and you stop breathing, what happened? They finally bobbed to the surface, meaning what they floated on the surface. They gasping for air now. They started to breathe, and they start to spit mouthful of the terrible bitter water. They started to spit a lot of water because they were dangerous. They are trying to breathe. They are trying to swim, to float. So this was dangerous. Then the lake tilted and began to empty into a cave. Now finally the lake started to get to begin to be empty, like to stop, like to become empty. Okay, now let's see what happened. The ants could hear the rushing water and felt themselves pulled toward the pitch black hole. Suddenly the cave disappeared and the lake became calm. The ants swam to the shore and found that the lake had steep insides. Now what happened here? Can you see the ants? Now the lake started to get empty. You know how how the lake started to get empty? Look, by because now the brown water it started to get down. Okay, so little by little the lake started to get empty. Then the ants could hear the rushing water. When you feel the water is rushing, okay, like going fast. So they felt themselves pulled toward a pitch black hole, as if the lake and the ants together, all of them, they were going inside a very dark hole. Look, as this is the hole that was carrying the ant and the brown lake. Okay. Suddenly the cave disappeared. Why the cave disappeared? Because they went inside the cave. And the lake became calm. It became calm. Now everything now is fine. They couldn't hear the sound of the rushing water. Now the ants swam to the shore and found that the lake had steep sides. Steep sides like when it's slippery and it has steep sides. Okay. Now let's turn the page 400, 500, 480, sorry. They hurried down the walls that held back the lake. The frightened insects looked for a place to hide, worried that the giant scoop might swallow them up again. Close by, they found a huge round desk with holes that could neatly hide them. Now the ants want to hide from the scoop. They feel scared. Now they finally swam to the shore and they don't want to go back again. So they wanted to look to a place to hide. Now, where did they found? They found a huge round desk, as you can see here in the picture. It was safe for them to hide and stay away from the scoop and from the lake.